So hello and good evening, this is Rosposola from Curbal.com, and today is time again for a Power Query Challenge Solution Part 5. For those of you that does not know what this is, it's basically a Power Query Challenge I announced a few weeks ago, and some of you have been kind enough to send me your solution, so I'm actually going through everybody's solution. And so far so good, none of them are actually identical. Today's solution is with Morito Oto. I don't have a picture of him, so hopefully it's okay with the name. And I was supposed to do Colin's solution today, but unfortunately I haven't gone through all these steps yet. So as soon as I have it, I will do it. Sorry, Colin, but soon, promise. Anyhow, today's solution is a combination of a few things I've shown you and then things that are completely new that I haven't shown you before. I think the great part of Morito's contribution, if I may say, is that he actually documented the entire thing. And I think this is like a best practice case of how to document Power Query code so everybody can understand this. So I'm going to go through all the steps. Of course, there are a lot of cool tricks in there that you can use for all kinds of cases, but also take into account the documentation. I think he made a fantastic job to actually bother to do that. It's been also easier for me to understand how his code looks like and what he was trying to do on each step. So that's the way we should all do it. Anyhow, without any further delay, let's begin the challenge. So here we are in Power BI, more than that, we're in Power Query, actually the query editor. And here we are, today we're going to go through, as I said before, Morito's solution to the challenge. And I want to show you first, you see every time you see this backslash twice, it means there is a comment. And as you can see through all his code, he commented everything, which is absolutely amazing. Like really good. We should all do this. But let's go through the code and we will use his comments to understand what's going on. So you can see here, I mean, it's very difficult to see because it gets cut. I hope that Microsoft can fix this. But he is saying I'm transforming the given data, saving the worksheet to the event table tech day created by Morito, and the last time he modified it. Like, how cool is that? Possible issues: works only for a specific set of data. The query is built for the specific format of the data, not flexible to adapt to the changes of how the data are formatted. A slight change will cause errors in the query. Initial setup, select the file directory and file name below. So what you can see here, this is the path to the file, and this is the file name, okay? And here is where it's actually using file context to get the contents of the Excel file that it gets open here with Excel workbook. So there are two tabs, and you could see that before we have one with the data source and the other one with the proposed results, where I showed you that I've got with my code. So sheet name is the one that he's going to use, the data source, and he is actually going to retrieve the information from the worksheet, which is in here. So here he created a function to actually call in, that he calls in here. So you get sheet and then source workbooks, sheet name, and then he gets the information from Excel. So the next thing he does is clean up the data. Let's see, clean up the data, remove nulls, remove date, remove lines for the contact info, and that is basically what happens in here. He removed the nulls, the empties, remove the dates, remove the contact info that is at the bottom. You can see here, remove last n. And then where he starts making his magic. Start converting the original sheet data to the table. And he does that in there. So from list to table, you can see that. And then that's when he starts to convert the results. He has a function that, or not a function, but he checks if the text is, he actually wrote it, logic to identify if the column has a date format. So he wrote a way to identify if that was a date or not, and that's what you see, the false and true. You will have access to this file, so you can go exactly in all detail if you want to, okay? He added an index. He then added a custom column that it says if there is a date. So this is, if his date is true, then get back the index, otherwise nothing. And this is a way for him to identify the different sections, right? And I think most of us did exactly the same. We use date as an identifier for where to find the header and, you know, the room and all that kind of stuff. Then he goes and he fills down the index. It's a little bit smaller, you see? So it says fill down, and it fills down everything. The problem he has now is that, of course, he's using, you know, the first line is missing, and then everything is going so everything is moved one step down, and we don't want that, right? So he is trying to identify which group of rows belongs to the same session. So what it does is fills down, and then here he actually moves it up one notch. And we've seen different types of doing that on the other part. So you can check part 2 and part 3, where you can actually see the same thing done. He makes it a little bit different. He has, this is where he moves the index up, and this is where he guards for the last row where there's nothing to move up and it will give you an error. So instead of getting an error, this is actually giving you the index number. Remove the columns that he doesn't need, and now he groups, and this is the same as Daniel did. So here it has a bunch of lists that contains all the information you need for that particular session. So here you have, you see, this is for the first session. If we go to the next list, you'll see all the information for the next session. So there you go. Now he calls, like, the I don't know if variable is a good word, but he's defining the delimiter, and he's actually combining, let me see, he's actually combining now all rows into one row using the delimiter. Let's see if it runs. So let's take a look. You can see here, this is the name of the session, and then you get the delimiter. I don't know how this bar is called. I'm sure it's something. No, you tell me in the comment box. I have no idea what that is called in English. Here is the date and the start date for the session. This is the start time, the end time for the session, the location. So now he has everything with a separator, which is this bar. What is it called? Now he counts how many columns there are by counting how many sections are between the delimiter, perhaps. And you can see here, so the first one has 7 rows, 6, 11 rows, and so on and so forth. He finds which one has the maximum number of rows. And now he's going to generate how many... No, sorry, he's finding the number of columns. Well, rows. He's looking for how many columns to be able to generate a column header. So he wants to know how many columns names he needs to add. Because he doesn't know how many speakers there are, right? Sometimes there is 2 speakers, sometimes there is 4, sometimes there is 8. So here he says, okay, the maximum I need is 13. Now, let's see what he says. Expand the data into columns by splitting the text by delimiter. And the delimiter is, of course, the bar that I don't know what the name is. And this is what we're getting all the splits, and then he's using the generate column header to give that name to the columns. Then he removes the first. He combines the dates and the hours, because this, of course, we want to have together or separated. I don't remember how I did it. And he groups everything. Function to split into columns: event date, start time, event date, start time, and time. So that's what he is doing in this function here. So you will have, again, access to this, so you can check exactly into detail. If I go to all the details, it would be a long video. But make sure you reproduce it. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in here. Let's see. Group date columns into one and turn into a table that contains 4 columns. So now he's splitting that into 4. You will see now a table with 4 columns. So here we have them, 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. And this is the name he wants to give to the columns. This is the name for the speakers. And this is the combined list of all different columns that we are going to get. Here he changes the name to the new names. You see, speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 3. Here it lists the names for the date and time. He expands with those names, so now he has start date, time, date, start, end. He changed the column type, and then he reordered the columns, so they are on the order I gave them, probably. And here he has all the information. So again, there is a lot of tricks in here that are very, very useful for different scenarios. So I will again publish the file. Let me show you where they will be. So here is my GitHub profile, and I have this. Where is it? Here, Power Query Challenge. And here you can see, oh my god, I forgot the ones from yesterday. So I will publish, you'll see my contributions, you will see Daniel's contributions, and then I will push Emin's and Morito's also. So you will see here, you get a link to the video and then a link to the solution, or you have the solution files here also, so as you like. But make sure to take a look, they're really, really useful. Okay, so this is all for today. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by giving me a thumbs up. If you know anybody that would also like to see this, just share the knowledge by sharing the video. If you're new to the channel, I publish Power BI videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Friday mainly for DAX. And if you don't want to miss any of my videos, just click the bell to receive notifications, and you will get an email every time I publish something. So have a great Tuesday. And tomorrow I have a cool video. It's not going to be about the Power Query Challenge, it's something else. A video that or a trick that I learned how to do on Twitter. So stay tuned. Bye.